This is the CBC Morning Report for today, Monday, June 26. I'm Tisha Hines. Good morning. In our top story, assessments and repairs are continuing days after the passage of Tropical Storm Brett. Carrie Hines, Director of the Department of Emergency Management, gave an updated damage report last evening on CBC TV8's The People's Business.
We had about 70 or just over 70 reports of some type of damage, whether that be fallen trees, instances with the electricity poles, and of course the damage to homes. As the acting Prime Minister has said, we had to date we had 13 instances of damage to homes. To have a good feel in terms of what are the needs after the impact. We also have a number of crews out in the field just trying to effect the necessary repairs. So persons will see the Barbados Light and Power. We have our roving response team there dealing with any fallen trees, and a number of other agencies are out. With respect to the damage to the homes, after carrying out that damage assessment, then we would see what is required, whether that be placement in temporary shelter and or, of course, retrofitting to the homes that require such.
Now, going forward, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, or SEDEMA, says it will be embarking on what Executive Director Elizabeth Riley describes as a game changer. It involves revisiting building codes for residential homes.
Looking at revisiting the code of practice for the construction of small homes and making them built to a capability of resisting Category 5 strength winds and also 7.5 on the Richter scale earthquakes. And we're doing this in collaboration with CrossQ, the Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, as well as the Caribbean Development Bank, the OECS, and a number of other partners. And this has already been integrated as a critical component of the Caribbean vocational qualification through our partnership with CANTA. And this is important because it means that this type of information, knowledge about how to build and build in a resilient way is going to be available to artisans through our regional technical and vocational institutions, community colleges, polytechnics, etc.
From a law and order perspective, the Barbados Police Service says it's ready for looters when a lockdown associated with a weather system is implemented. Acting Senior Superintendent Rodney Archer says looting is a common occurrence, but there are special units ready to counter the illegal act.
Criminals take the opportunity when systems, hurricanes, storms strike, when they know that the commercial centers are battered down and unprotected, left virtually unprotected, to plan criminal activity. But I can assure you, despite the fact that it increases the danger to police officers' lives, they have to respond in an actual system. We have plans in place to respond when such things occur. But I can tell you that it is something that we have planned for. We have units in place on standby to respond to such things as looting. I believe you might have been referring specifically to looting. And we have units specifically chosen and at the ready to respond to any reports of looting during an active system.
And on the topic of education, Chief Education Officer Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw explains that confirmation on the closure of schools cannot be given any earlier.
So before we can decide whether we'll close school, we have to hear from the Met Office, we have to hear from the Minister of Home Affairs, and we have to hear from the Prime Minister. Not to mention that there must be discussion with all other relevant stakeholders before the decision is made with regard to how school will proceed. It is not a case where the Ministry of Education will just say no school or there is school. We have to base our decisions on science each and every time and ensure that the relevant parties have been notified and that there has been discussion, and then we'll make the announcement to the public.
Still to come on the CBC Morning Report, Prime Minister Motley talks solutions and development with China. Barbados and other developing countries are being told China is willing to work with them on solutions for financing and difficulties, and also to promote sustainable development. These were among commitments made to Prime Minister Mia Motley as she held talks with Chinese Premier Li Jiang during her official visit to Beijing. CBC's Shane Seeley reports.
Prime Minister Motley says Barbados attaches great importance to the Barbados-China relationship, and both countries are committed to improving people's lives and promoting sustainable development. She's thanked China for sending medical teams to the island and providing support for its fight during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Prime Minister notes Barbados is willing to strengthen cooperation with China in the fields of agriculture, energy, infrastructure construction, poverty reduction, tourism, culture and education, and jointly tackle climate change and other global challenges. China's premier says his country is ready to work with Barbados to promote the joint construction of a high-quality belt and road and enhance exchanges and cooperation related to the economy, trade, culture and other fields. He says China encourages its enterprises to invest and do business in Barbados and stands ready to import more competitive products from the island. According to him, they understand the situation and special concerns of developing island countries in coping with climate change and other issues.
Following the Wagner mercenary group's short-lived mutiny over the weekend, Russian President Vladimir Putin and his government find themselves in uncharted territory. The crisis appears to have been averted for now, but what happens next for Russia and the Wagner group remain uncertain.
Wagner forces leave the city of Rostov-on-Don in southern Russia. Instead of Moscow, they're reportedly heading to their old positions on the front lines in Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin called Wagner leader Yevgeny Prigozhin a traitor. But as he left Rostov, Prigozhin was cheered by a crowd.
It all ended perfectly well, thank God, with minimal casualties. I think good job. I believe this was the right thing to do.
Under a deal reportedly brokered by the president of Belarus, Prigozhin has left for that country, while some of his mercenaries are to be integrated into the Russian army. But some doubt whether this will be the end of the Wagner Group or its founder.
It's a big question. I mean, yesterday was a giant mutiny and Vladimir Putin called it treason, and today suddenly they're all forgiven and he's going to Belarus. Hard to know, Belarus is a small country. Yevgeny Prigozhin is a man of giant projects, and so it's kind of hard to see what exactly he's going to be doing there.
After nearly 24 hours of tension, calm has returned to the Russian capital. Yet many are concerned about what this rebellion may mean in the long term.
The fact that this deal appears to have given Prigozhin a sort of free pardon to retire into Belarus, and that the Wagner mercenaries will be absorbed into the regular Russian army is perhaps a surprise. But it's also the reason why I think this saga isn't finally over, because I find it very hard to believe that Prigozhin will have a quiet, peaceful retirement in Belarus.
President Putin has not made any public comment since the agreement was announced, nor has there been any word from Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, whom Prigozhin mentioned by name as the target of the rebellion.
Prigozhin's demands centered on getting rid of the Russian military high command and the defense minister. We might perhaps see Putin move to do that once he can claim that he is not doing so under pressure, but of his own volition.
Many analysts agree that uncertainty surrounds both Russia's military operations and its leader's political future.
It's time now to preview what's coming up on Morning Barbados. Well, in today's presentation, get ready to dive into an exciting week of events and activities as we mark the 66th anniversary of JCI Barbados. They're kicking things off with the Climate Launchpad competition. We'll tell you more about that. Plus, entrepreneurs from Barbados and the Caribbean will have a chance to showcase their ideas in climate change, green energy, sustainability, and environmental practices. But that's not all. The Barbados Red Cross has teamed up with the Women and Development Unit at the UWI Cayfield campus and filmmaker Daniel Boyce to bring you a special screening of his acclaimed production 26, the film. Now, this screening will be a fundraiser to support the Meals on Wheels program. In addition, the Worldwide International Mothers Union president will be visiting Barbados, and the Methodist Church is hosting a free lecture to honor national hero Sarah Ann Gill. Last but not least, the Bridgetown Fisherfolk Association will be previewing their week of activities. So don't miss a moment of all the action. Make sure you stay tuned for Morning Barbados that starts right here at 6:30 this morning. We'll have more news, sports, and weather after this break. Ahead of plans to transform Grantley Adams International Airport, changes are already taking place at the facility. Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Ryan Strawn, says money-making opportunities are in store for Barbadians. CBC's Sharika Griffith has more in this report.
Government is planning to expand the range of services it currently offers in the civil aviation space.
Expanding the range of services from aircraft maintenance and a whole range of other activities that you can see the airport expanding over the next few years in order to, as I said, complement the suite of services here that you offer. And therefore, not just pilots, but the range of professionals within the civil aviation space. Where we intend to open up a specific element of the economy that allows us then to service a regional civil aviation framework that allows us then to be more competitive and to offer greater services to the regional public.
Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Ryan Strawn, was speaking during the dedication ceremony for the newest building at the airport, the Private Aircraft Services Jet Center. He's commended the move, which he expects will not only create jobs, but investment opportunities for Barbadians. Chief Executive Officer Joseph Kelman explains the business offers a premier concierge service to pilots, passengers and private aircraft entering and exiting the airport.
We have a brand new concierge service that meets you at the bottom of the flight of the aircraft and bring you here. And you are processed here through customs and immigration. And as you said, the process can take about 20 minutes.
In addition to its security scanner and immigration checkpoint, customers also have access to 2 electric vehicles, one of which is wheelchair accessible. The building is also outfitted with an elevator to accommodate people who are physically challenged.
A solar system that is designed to help reduce the carbon footprint and by extension help reduce the country's dependence on fossil fuel. 2 lounges providing easy passage for passengers entering and leaving the island. A lovely crew room, the likes of which has not been seen in Barbados.
Private Air Services was incorporated in 1997. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Thanks, Sharika. Safety and health committees could soon be a mandatory feature at workplaces across the island to monitor how employers and companies are protecting workers on the job. This as government moves to enhance safety and health at work regulations by ratifying 2 international labour organization conventions. Labour Minister Colin Jordan gave details on plans in this regard during a service at St. Peter Parish Church to launch a week of activities under the theme Safety and Health, a fundamental principle to rights at work.
As a nation that does right by its people, and as a member of the International Labour Organization, Barbados observes the 2 fundamental instruments. 1, the Occupational Safety and Health Convention 1981, and the Promotional Framework for Occupational Safety and Health Convention, which was from 2006. And I've instructed the Chief Labour Officer to ensure that these 2 conventions are ready for ratification by the end of this year, by December of this year. We've also paid particular attention to reviving within workplaces safety and health committees.
The Labour Minister also made an urgent appeal for Barbadians to report any breaches of the Safety and Health at Work Act to the Labour Office. He made particular mention of the provision of bathroom facilities for agricultural workers.
While we do not have all the resources in our Labour Department to police every single workspace in this country, I'm saying this publicly so that if anyone who hears me is aware of this regulation being floated, please contact us, because we will no longer stand by or sit by and allow our people, particularly our women folk, who helped to build this country to be the subject of the indignity of having to relieve themselves in grass pieces or in cane fields.
Commissioner of Police of Belize, Chester Williams, is the new president of the Commission of Chiefs of Police and Police Directors of Central America, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Colombia. Williams was elected to the post after being appointed as interim president 3 weeks ago. Williams was declared president at the 34th Extraordinary General Assembly of the Commission, and he's the first commissioner from Belize to hold this esteemed position. The top cop has been speaking about the benefits of holding the presidency and how it will aid in Belize's fight against transnational narco-trafficking.
Certainly it's going to enhance our ability to be able to work very closely with our Central American, the Caribbean, Colombia and Mexico allies. I can tell you I was on a one-week visit to Honduras last week, and we discussed many issues affecting policing within both countries, and we were able to forge partnership in several areas. The Honduran National Police have agreed to provide training for the police in Belize in human trafficking, human smuggling, cybercrime, gang identification, and as well as intelligence analysts. So there's a lot that we can learn from Honduras. We also stopped in Salvador, and I met with the Director General in Salvador as well, and they also agreed to provide training for our officers. If a matter of fact, Honduras agreed to give us 4 scholarships annually for a police officer to attend the police college in Honduras. That's a 4-year program. So once we get that going, it certainly is going to enhance our ability. The police officers will be able to get more professional and detailed training in law enforcement.
Jamaica's opposition party is once again expressing its concerns regarding the upcoming introduction of new Electric Jamaica Urban Transit Company buses, particularly focusing on the issue of maintenance. Highlighting the significant number of buses currently in state of disrepair, the opposition says raised concerns have been disregarded thus far. CVM Television has that report.
Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett says in an effort to enhance public transit services, some new buses will be added to the Jamaica Urban Transit Company's fleet.
JUTC will receive a boost of adding 50 new buses, including 45 diesel and 45 electric buses by the end of this month.
The minister says this will improve the company's capacity to better serve citizens, adding the eco-friendly vehicles will enhance public transportation efficiency and reliability. Bartlett also unveiled by September another 20 buses will be added. But opposition member with responsibility for transport, Michael Phillips, says they have no issues with electrical buses. However, he raised several concerns, which he told CVM Live he has been asking in Parliament for quite some time.
We are spending billions of dollars on these new buses. They are different from what we would normally have, which are regular diesel buses. We have a different environment. We need to make sure that we have adequate data that these buses can work with our environment.
Phillips questioned if Jamaica has the requisite skill sets currently to maintain the buses, debunking the government's claim that the buses don't need much maintenance.
So it's just making sure that we have enough data, that we don't spend money like putting the cart before the horse.
He says we might save on fuel, but maintenance, he insists, will rack up the prices. He reminds there are presently buses with less glass than electrical buses that have been destroyed by citizens and replaced with cardboards or plywood boards.
And if we treat them the same way that we treat the regular buses, then we're going to have a big expense on our hands.
Phillips rebuked the government, saying they treat transport like a bastard child, noting even these additives will not increase the seating capacity.
In Guyana, the West Demerara thoroughfare is now being classed as the deadliest road surface in the country, owing to the number of fatalities. There is a focus, however, on how motorcyclists use the roadways. The traffic chief continues to appeal to road users, particularly cyclists, to use the thoroughfares with care. We have a report from NCN TV.
Traffic Chief Dennis Stevens says the west coast of Damara Roadway Region 3 has become the deadliest thoroughfare with the highest percentage of road deaths coming from that region this year. He says for the first half of the year alone, there have been 82 serious accidents, with 18 in Region 3, followed by Region 4C with 12 fatalities and Region 6 with 11. Across the country, 29 persons using motorcycles, inclusive of pillion riders, have died on the country's roadways this year. These deaths total 42% and account for the highest percentage of road fatalities. The youngest road fatality was a 2-month-old being transported on an electric motorcycle. Meanwhile, speaking on Thursday's television program Road Safety and New Traffic Officer Division 4A, Deputy Superintendent Wayne D. Hart says too often road users, especially motorcyclists, see the dangers, hear about the accidents, know the impact, and still ignore the signs.
An endemic right now where every time I pick up my phone with the caption either serious or fatal accident, it's as though the next 3 lines down I'm expecting to see motorcyclists. Motorcyclists. Most of the accidents now that we're getting, motorcyclists.
DeHart says the aftermath of accidents affect families.
I'm sure their families were, because of that sole either breadwinner, disciplinarian in the home and so on, that person would have been removed. Maybe children may have gotten into delinquent behaviors, drop out of school and all of those things, gotten into teenage pregnancy, and because the person who held that family grouping is now gone, and the remainder is left to the wilderness.
The Guyana Police Force has embarked on several road traffic campaigns to educate motorcyclists on proper usage of the roads.
In sports, the Windies, with a spot in the Super 6 stage of the ICC World Cup qualifier in Zimbabwe, already confirmed are looking to improve their group placing by winning the ongoing final preliminary match against the Netherlands. Batting first after losing the toss, the Windies a short while ago were 313 for 6 after 45 overs. Brandon King made 76. That included 13 fours. King and Johnson Charles, who added 54, put on 101 for the opening partnership. Nicholas Puran is on 81, while Captain Shea Hope made 47, as those two put on 108 for the 4th wicket. The game is currently live on MCTV's ESPN channel 308. The first ODI between Windies women and the visiting Irish women starts this morning at Beausejour Stadium in St. Lucia. Windies skipper Hayley Matthews says she's aiming to continue the relatively successful year she's been having.
It's been, I think personally, a good year so far for me. But yeah, hopefully I can carry some of that winning momentum on into this series, and we can have a great series against Ireland. Obviously, we know they're going to be some good competition. They're a quickly improving team. But yeah, we definitely like to go out there playing at home and take home a 6-0 victory. But we know that's going to come with a lot of hard work and good performances personally and as a team. So we're ready to leave it all out there on the park and hopefully have a great series together.
Skipper Matthews is also happy that former captain Stephanie Taylor is back in the lineup.
It's great to have Steph back. I think especially in the 50-over form now. She's been looking really good in the nets and seems to be in a really good mental space going into this series. So hopefully we could have her out there on the park performing really well and going getting back to her always scoring runs again.
And to give you the latest score, the West Indies are currently 332 for 6. The first ODI Windies women versus Ireland starts at 10 a.m. And that's today's morning report. Before we go, a look at the weather. The barometric pressure stands at 1013.2 millibars. It's currently 27 degrees Celsius. The relative humidity is 83%, and the winds are blowing out of the east at 20 kilometers per hour. The present temperature is fair. Sea conditions for Barbados: smooth to moderate in open water with swells peaking at 1.5 meters. And here's a look at how the tides roll in today. General conditions for Barbados: sunny with cloudy periods with a few breeze scattered light showers. And into the evening, you can expect a mix of clear skies and clouds with the occasional breeze scattered light to moderate showers. Here's a look at some international cities. Definitely warming up all across the world. Thank you for tuning in for today's morning report. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 noon on TV8, followed by The World at 1 via our radio network of stations on 100.7 FM, 98.1 The One, and 94.7 FM. Morning Barbados is next.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning and welcome to today's presentation of Morning Barbados. It's Monday, June 26th. Wow, we are quickly moving through the days and times, aren't we? So good to have you on this Monday morning. And before we even get going, I want to make sure that I remind you, you should be giving thanks for seeing another day, another week. So happy Monday, and indeed happy new week as well. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here until 8 o'clock this morning, bringing you some pretty exciting news from all spheres of Barbados. We have some great news about activities and people and places and things. Feels like one of those games that we used to play in the olden days. Now I have to say those things. Remember, you can also follow us online at CBC News Barbados. We're on Instagram, we're also on YouTube, and we also stream on Facebook for those of you across the diaspora who want to peek. Maybe you can't watch the entire show because you have to go off to work. Then, of course, you can go back and share in all the joyous activities we'll be telling you about and get all the information you need. Plus, we are also inviting you to share with us. So once you get online, you can share what you love to see, what you want to hear, who you want to see, because this is, after all, Bajan TV. Now, we are going to be sharing on something called Climate Launchpad today. And Joshua Fort, founder or CEO of Red Diamond Compost, and the 2019 winner for Barbados for Climate Launchpad, will be in along with Rashida Beckles' Caribbean Center of Excellence for Sustainable Livelihoods. And they're talking about the current position on the competition and the opportunities that will be available for entrepreneurs both in Barbados and the Caribbean for that climate launch pad. We'll tell you a whole lot more about that and how you can get involved. And we also have on today's show members of the Barbados Red Cross Production 26, the film, Danielle Toppin of the Barbados Red Cross, and Daniel Boyce, the producer of the film, will be in to talk a little bit more about the film, which will be featured on June 30th. That's just in a matter of days. So we'll talk about how the partnership with Daniel and the film came about and how you can get to see it and be a part of it. Now, this one for a lot of our favorite ladies who call in and check with us. The Barbados Mothers Union, I know, is very, very active, has a very active membership. So Worldwide International Mothers Union, the president, Sharon Harper, who is visiting Barbados, will also be visiting Morning Barbados. I'm very excited about that. I've heard my mother over the years talking about Mothers Union, and usually our moms are very, very excited about being a part of the Mothers Union, and we usually see the ladies beautifully attired and resplendent in their gorgeous white dresses when they go out to represent for Mothers Union. For those of you who have relatives and aunties and grannies and mums who attend the Anglican faith. So we'll be hearing a whole lot more about that. So Joyce Seeley of the Barbados Mothers Union, she's the president here in Barbados, and the worldwide president will both be visiting us this morning. I'm sure it truly will be a blessing. Plus, Sarah Ann Gill Memorial Lecture is coming up. Our national hero, Sarah Ann Gill, will be recognized through a free lecture that's being given by the Methodist Church Ghanaian Reverend by the name of Professor Larty. And we have Faye Marie Brown, a member of the organizing committee of Heritage Month 2023, as well as Reverend Adrian Olo, the superintendent of Minister of the Bethel Circuit. They will both be in to talk to us about that. I told you it's a packed day today simply because it's Monday. You know how that goes. And then, of course, we're talking Fisherman's Day with Melissa Tate, Vice President of the Bridgetown Fisher Folk Association, and Augustine Ford, PRO of that association. We're going to be looking at the week of activities and everything you can look forward to. And I certainly hope we can squeeze all of that into the next 90 minutes or so. We most certainly will try. I just encourage you to stick around. But we're starting this morning's show by inviting a few familiar faces back to Morning Barbados. Kizwana Miller is the 2023 president of JCI Barbados, and Nikita Drakes is the executive vice president of JCI Barbados. And we're talking about their 66th anniversary and week of activities. Good morning, ladies. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine, thanks.
All right, wonderful. Good to have you with us. I feel like I need to sit my hands in my lap too. And, you know, that's how it's supposed to be done. Makes you speak a certain way when you have your hands placed on your lap. You know, they used to tell you that. But, I mean, I love it. And, you know, you would tell me, I mean, we spoke before and you told me that's the JCI way. So for people tuning in who don't necessarily know, first of all, tell us, what's JCI Barbados?
So JCI stands for Junior Chamber International, and it's a leadership development organization for individuals between the ages of 18 to 40.
All right, wonderful. Now you have a big anniversary coming up.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that. 66 years. It's major.
Yes. So today we actually celebrate 66 years of existence and positive impact within Barbados.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. So established in 1957, we've been doing amazing things. Persons of the older generation may know us as the JCs. Back then, we'd have done projects whereby we would establish the first lifeguard hut at Aqua Beach, as well as, you know, facilitate the training of lifeguards across Barbados. In addition to that, we would have also built the Eden Lodge Nursery School, whom we will do a donation to today, as well as the Government Hill Nursery School as well. So those are our three major projects executed within the last 66 years, in addition to assisting with the building of the National Stadium.
That is truly wonderful work. Congratulations again to you ladies and indeed to the organization. Now, I know you got things started, Nikita, with the church service.
Yes.
So talk to me about how that went, and then we'll move on to some of the other activities we can look forward to this week.
So yesterday we would have started our activities with a church service at Esteen New Testament Church of God. It was a wonderful and impacting service where not only the current board but the membership were able to come out and fellowship with the members of Esteen at New Testament Church of God. So that came off wonderfully. And then after that we had a chapter lunch where everyone then were able to come and socialize with each other and, you know, just have a second part of fellowship from the church service.
All right, something is coming up on Wednesday.
Yes, so let's start on Tuesday. So today we have the donation. On Tuesday we actually have a wealth and wellness session with Melinda Peter and Kaylee Jordan. So Melinda we know to be a financial expert. Kaylee is a nutritionist. On Wednesday we relax a little bit and we go to Amigos at Time Out Hotel, where we will sing some karaoke of all keys, because you know everyone is not a singer. And then on Thursday, we continue with financial education with our General Legal Counsel from GSA International, and he's also an entrepreneur by his day-to-day, and his name is Unotida Nioni, all the way from GSA South Africa. And then on Friday, we go back to the donation, where we go to the HIV food bank and we make a donation. And then on the nighttime, we relax again. So GSA is a good mix of trainings as well as socials. So we are unwind on Friday evening at Kensington Oval. And then on Saturday, we're on the seas via a sunset cruise catamaran.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of relaxing to me, but no complaints. No complaints, because it's well deserved with all the work that you ladies have been putting in. I know there's also an ongoing drive to raise funds.
Yes.
Talk about that.
All right, so GSA is constantly looking for partnerships and sponsors, as the work that we do is one non-governmental as well as non-profit. So we are running several projects right now. There's a mathematics project, which is the free math lessons for our class 4 students. And we know the exam is tomorrow, so just want to wish best wishes to all the students taking the exam tomorrow. That project is sponsored by the Massey Foundation, Inc. Then we also have Safe and Sober, as we are now in the height of our crop over season. We want to ensure that persons are sober before leaving the parties. So we therefore set up safe zones within various activities. Once the promoters reach out to us to have to facilitate the zone, essentially. And that is also sponsored by Sunshine Snacks as well as Government Juice, and Sagicor is also on board. So once our projects are going, we're always looking for sponsorship. So when we knock on the doors, given that we're doing such positive and impactful work, we're asking Corporate Barbados to join with us and to ensure that our projects are successful in the end.
All right, hey, let's delve into that a little bit more, because we are in the middle of crop over, and that definitely is something that's much needed.
Yes.
So you're calling it a safe zone in the party. So tell me a little bit more about what it entails, what will be happening in this particular zone.
So for Safe and Sober, what will happen, we are promoting partying, yes, but we want to do it safely. So what would happen is, yes, we know that you're in the party, you're having fun, you're drinking, you know, you're mixing and mingling. But we also want you to just tame it down a little, so that when the party is finished and you leave the party, you get home safely. So you come, you can get your water, you can get your snacks, sober up so that you can head out on the road. But we're also promoting safe sex. So we have within the zone, we provide condoms, you know, we talk to you like, you know, okay, well, this is what we were hoping that you would do, so that you will not only keep yourself safe, but the other persons on the road, when you're leaving, you're safe as well.
That's a great initiative. Now, you mentioned Thursday, the Scale Your Life, Scale Your Business workshop.
Yes.
Let's delve into that a little bit more. I see that that can be a very interesting workshop. Is it open to the public, or is it just for JCI members?
Okay, so all of our events are open to the public. The one on Tuesday, Wealth and Wellness, that is a simple cost of $20 to attend. And the same for Thursday, Scale Your Life, Scale Your Business. That's also $20. These sessions are held at the Goddard's Training Room in Fontebelle, St. Michael.
How large is your membership?
Right now, we are about 42 to 45 strong, and always looking to grow.
I am so happy to hear you say 45 strong. You know?
Yeah, because some persons see it as a small number, but even if you see it as small, the impact that we have and the projects that we execute are quite large. And given that there's some sort of success, the membership and our resources, I would have to, you know, describe as strong.
Nikita, why did you join JCI?
Because I like to give back. For me is, yes, you have the knowledge, but there are people out there who need the knowledge as well, or who need help, or who need guidance to their resources. Before, I would not be sitting here, because public speaking is not my thing. And JCI helps you with your public speaking. It helps you with your debating skills. It helps you tune in on these skills that you have also, that you can give back to your wider community. So for me, it was for personal growth and also for community give back.
It helps you with your posture.
Definitely. Definitely.
I definitely have to come to JCI. Yes.
We invite you. You're welcome to come.
And you have to learn to tie a scarf.
It's not that hard.
I really, really love your you know, your JCI bling necklace.
Yeah,
I told
you
you
did
that
say
last
that.
time
Yeah,
you were
did.
here.
You did.
Absolutely. So for those people who don't know, tell me about all of this bling you're bringing on Monday morning.
All right, so the bling that Tisha's referring to is the presidential chain, and it is passed on each year from president to president. And the significance of the passing and for the past presidents and the senators to lay on our shoulders is so that we feel the weight of the leadership. As the bling, it is not like, it is quite heavy, and usually the past presidents' names and years are inscribed on each link up. This one is not inscribed, but very shortly.
I feel like there needs to be a bugle call after you say presidential chain. Yes?
I think we have to get into the glitz and glamour that you're inspiring here.
Well, congratulations on reaching your 66th year.
Yes.
It certainly sounds like you continue to do wonderful work in the community, and we're so happy that you've chosen Morning Barbados to come and share with Barbados all that you're doing. So let's talk about membership now, because that 45 strong, I'm sure you could always use a little backing.
Yes.
For someone who's looking on and saying, hey, that could be me. I truly want to give back like Nikita. I want to be better at public speaking. I want to help out in the community. What can they do to be able to join?
Okay, so you can send us the email at info@jsabarbados.com. You can also visit our website at www.jsabarbados.com and just fill out the prospective member form. Or you can also give me a call at 232-2955. There's also our Instagram and Facebook pages, which are JSA Barbados.
What's the age range?
18 to 40 is the active member age range. However, persons who are over 40 are welcome to come and, you know, be mentors as well to the younger generation. And those who are under 18 who may be in BCC or UE looking in and looking for a non-profit organization to join, you can partner with us now and, you know, create that mentee-mentor relationship before, you know, you come into being an active member of the organization.
So back off, old people. I'll just be bad today. I'm sorry, I really didn't mean it. No, you know, so 18 to 40
18 to
years
40
old.
is the active membership age group.
That definitely is a good range. So reminding you, info@jcibarbados.com. You can go, you can check out the website, jcibarbados.com as well. 2023 President of JCI Barbados, Kizwana Miller, and Executive Vice President Nikita Drake coming through to tell us all about the 6th anniversary celebration, a week of activities. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'll be tuning the chords.
For Wednesday.
To make my way over at your Amigos?
Amigos on Wednesday evening.
I drop by Amigos.
6:30 p.m.
6:30?
Yes.
Yeah, is it a competition?
No, we're just going to join them in their activity.
See if it was a competition.
I mean, we could make it one that you've brought it up.
Yeah, maybe.
You never know.
Again, thank you, ladies,
Thanks
for coming
for
through,
having us.
and it's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, good stuff. We're going to take a break and come on back. We have so much more on Morning Barbados. Tell you what, coming up, we're telling you about Climate Launch Pad. It's a competition for Barbados and the region. How can you get involved? That's next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
If you have ideas or business interests in climate change or green energy or environmental practices, helpful environmental practices, then this is a session you definitely want to stay tuned for. It's called the Climate Launch Pad, and it's a competition that's open to people here in Barbados and across the Eastern Caribbean. To tell us more, welcome Joshua Fort, who's founder, CEO of Red Diamond Compost, and 2019 winner from the Barbados for Climate Launch Pad, and Rashida Beckles, Caribbean Center of Excellence for Sustainable Livelihoods. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us. Now, lay the groundwork for me, Mr. Fort. Tell me about this particular competition, Climate Launch Pad. What is it?
So, Climate Launch Pad, I would say, is the best opportunity for anyone who's interested in any climate-focused business. So you could be in agriculture, you could be in fisheries, you could be in waste management, any area that focuses on having a strong social and climate impact, but also has a core business component. This would be the competition for you. It allows you to develop the skills that you need to move from idea, develop your innovation, and have a successful and thriving business. And I would say this has been one of the most important competitions and boot camp processes I have been through.
Now, you are the 2019 winner. Tell me about what piqued your interest in the competition and how did you hear about it, and then enter and go on to win.
So I can't remember exactly how I heard about it. I believe the main regional host at the time, Caribbean Climate Innovation Center based in Jamaica, they had initiated the call for applications, and at that time, BIDC, now Export Barbados, was the host of the event in 2019. So when I saw the information for Climate Launch Pad, I saw what it was about, focused specifically on, green tech and climate focused businesses. At the stage where I was still, my business was evolving, I saw this as the solution that I was looking for to help move my business to the next stage. I saw Climate Launch Pad as being a vehicle to provide me the information and resources that I needed to move from that research and development stage to commercialization. So I would have filled out the initial application form online, submitting information about my innovation, providing a description. We had to do a short 1-minute pitch video as well, and fill out all those details. Once they were reviewed and I got accepted, we then went on to the boot camp. The boot camp component was very interesting and very intense, I would say. We had a 3-day session learning all the ins and outs about developing a clean tech business, a climate focused business. And one of the interesting things compared to numerous competitions I was a part of before is that you are now getting, instead of just the general business information, all the content that is being delivered, all the information and knowledge that's being delivered is specific to someone who is developing a climate solution. So the metrics that we are using are a lot different to other businesses. So this provides you that atmosphere where you can, kind of battle test your idea and really get quality feedback that you need to help move it to the next level as quickly as possible. And I would say ensuring that you avoid as many pitfalls as possible along the way as well.
All right, thank you. So we know that you, Rashida Beckles, are also a part. So go ahead and fit yourself into this picture for us so we can have a rounded view of what we're talking of.
Certainly. Good morning once again, Tisha, viewers at home and abroad. So we are here in respect to Climate Launch Pad, but also as a representative of the Caribbean Center of Excellence for Sustainable Livelihoods. It's a mouthful, I'm sure, but it is COESL. I'll say that again, COESL. And COESL really stands for organizations or nonprofit organization. We work with approved preferred partners. And because of that, we look at innovation, we look at enterprise, sustainability, people, and planet. And it's not only about, if you think about climate change, it is also we're experiencing climate change. We see it, we live it, and we've seen how the changes have been experiencing over time. And COESL, we are the Barbadian hub for Climate Launchpad. All the C's, right? Climate Launchpad. So that's also known as CLP. As the Barbadian hub, there are many other regions, or I should say in terms of other Caribbean islands, that can apply through Barbados. So while we have some of our other neighboring territories such as Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Lucia and Suriname, they would have been a hub as well for Climate Launchpad. Their deadlines have actually closed off June the 28th. Yes, I said Wednesday, June the 28th. And there are other, if anybody else wants to participate, not only from Barbados, I'm calling out all of my regional countries. So whether you're from Antigua and Barbuda, or from Anguilla, let's talk about St. Martin, we can come on down the island chain, Guyana and Grenada. We're calling you. Persons have innovative ideas, as Joshua would have indicated. It's about entrepreneurship. It's about the environment. If you're more techie, once you have an idea, you can simple, you're going to climatelaunchpad.org and you can see all the information there so that you can peruse the form. Joshua always reminds persons you can start the form, you can save it and continue later. But you can't wait too late because the deadline is on Wednesday the 28th and it's not a very, very tedious process. But once you have an idea, you can start there. As Joshua alludes to, we talk about the boot camp, the wealth of experience, innovation, and the persons that we've met. So it's not just a Barbadian in terms of initiative, but we are the hub at COESL and persons can continue to enter. Just check it out. There we go. So just look at the information and it's still an idea. Some persons think, you know what, I'm not quite sure, etc. Try. There's no harm in doing that. And Climate Launchpad comes around every single year. So hopefully more persons will try to enter this year. And if not, it's coming around next year. And we have, in terms of Joshua here from beautiful Barbados, our 2019 winner, and his business continues to grow, to evolve, to learn, and to share, because Joshua
All right, now talk to us about the process, how it's done. I know Joshua talks us through 2019. He had to do a video, send this 1-minute video in, and then, he received a call. So let's talk about the process of how it will be done. Foremost in everybody's mind is that the deadline for Barbados is now Wednesday. So, you have to get on it like yesterday. Let's move from there and move on, Rashida.
Sure. So once you go to climatelaunchpad.org, it is very, very simple to go through the application form. You have, as I said, once you have that idea, some of the information you may just be able to, skeleton information put in. But once you are on board for this Climate Launchpad, then the team will work with you to be able to, develop that idea, develop that business. It's a competition, but it's bigger than that. It's not just a pitch competition, as we like to say. It is really about expanding your ideas. So go online, climatelaunchpad.org, beautifully there on your screen, and just click on the application form, a few things to fill out, and then you can proceed along. So start to look at it. You might peruse it today. Then tonight you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to do this. So for my Barbadian counterparts, if you're an entrepreneur, you're an innovator, a creator, you might just be studying something in terms of green those lanes. And we don't want to scare persons off that it's about science and tech only, but it does help to build in terms of your creativity, and then it takes you way further than that.
All right. And of course, you have Joshua Fort here to really corroborate that story, because based on what he started by telling us, he's been able to truly grow his business and expand his depth of knowledge in his selected area of business as well. So final word for you, Joshua, as to why people should enter Climate Launchpad 2023.
I would encourage as many people to enter Climate Launchpad this year because, again, we are living in the climate crisis. We need as many people on board to help bring about the change that we need to see. And Climate Launchpad is going to provide you that environment, that safe environment, that strong foundation that you need to, as it says in the name, to be able to launch your business and enterprise successfully.
Final word for you, Rashida. Why should
I just
people
want to say
enter
it's
from your perspective?
We have great ideas, and it's not only about letting other persons, if you want to say from the Western Hemisphere, bring all the ideas and all the tech. We have ideas. No matter how small your idea is, We live it, we see it, we work it. It's about green business. It's about protecting our own as well. The Caribbean is beautiful. How do we bring that innovation, the creativity, the tech, the science, and be able to propel that in terms of our protecting our environment that everybody comes to the Caribbean for? So check it out, Climate Launchpad or COESL, and you can contact us for more information in regard to excellence for sustainable livelihoods, or simply look for Climate Launchpad and the information we provided there.
Now, the application deadline, as we mentioned, for Barbados, St. Lucia, Suriname, June 28th. Boot Camp, Barbados, St. Lucia, Suriname, July 18th to 21st. And the national final, Barbados, St. Lucia, Suriname, is to be determined. So make sure you're online, go to that website to find out more. Thank you so much, Joshua, for sharing with us. And Rashida, always great to see you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. All right, it's just past 7 o'clock in Barbados and across the Eastern Caribbean. It's time for an update of the news. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Exactly 2 minutes after 7 o'clock, time for an update of the news. Assessments and repairs are continuing days after the passage of Tropical Storm Brett. Carrie Hines, Director of the Department of Emergency Management, gave an updated damage report last evening on CBC TV8's The People's Business.
We had about 70 or just over 70 reports of some type of damage, whether that be fallen trees, instances with the electricity poles, and of course the damage to homes. As the acting Prime Minister has said, we had to date we had 13 instances of damage to homes. The assessors were out in the field, our damage assessors. They have been out of the field since Friday, assessing the damage and trying to have a good feel in terms of what are the needs after the impact. We also have a number of crews out in the field just trying to effect the necessary repairs. So persons will see the Barbados Light and Power. We have our roving response team there dealing with any fallen trees, and a number of other agencies are out. With respect to the damage to the homes, after carrying out that damage assessment, then we would see what is required, whether that be placement in temporary shelter and or, of course, retrofitting to the homes that require such.
We're also hearing this morning, going forward, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency says it will be embarking on what Executive Director Elizabeth Riley describes as a game changer. It involves revisiting building codes for residential homes.
Looking at revisiting the code of practice for the construction of small homes and making them built to a capability of resisting Category 5 strength winds and also 7.5 on the Richter scale earthquakes. And we're doing this in collaboration with CrossQ, the Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, as well as the Caribbean Development Bank, the OECS, and a number of other partners. And this has already been integrated as a critical component of the Caribbean vocational qualification through our partnership with Canta. And this is important because it means that this type of information, knowledge about how to build and build in a resilient way is going to be available to artisans through our regional technical and vocational institutions, community colleges, polytechnics, etc.
From a law and order perspective, the Barbados Police Service says it's ready for the looters whenever a lockdown associated with a weather system is implemented. Acting Senior Superintendent Rodney Archer says looting is a common occurrence, but there are special units ready to counter the illegal act.
Criminals take the opportunity when systems, hurricanes, storms strike, when they know that the commercial centers are battered down and unprotected, left virtually unprotected, to plan criminal activity. But I can assure you, despite the fact that it increases the danger to police officers' lives to have to respond in an actual system, we have plans in place to respond when such things occur. But I can tell you that it is something that we have planned for. We have units in place on standby to respond to such things as looting. I believe you might have been referring specifically to looting. And we have units specifically chosen and at the ready to respond to any reports of looting during an active system.
And on the topic of education, Chief Education Officer Dr. Ramona Archer Bradshaw explained that confirmation on the closure of schools cannot be given any earlier.
So before we can decide whether we will close school, we have to hear from the Met Office, we have to hear from the Minister of Home Affairs, and we have to hear from the Prime Minister. Not to mention that there must be discussion with all other relevant stakeholders before the decision is made with regard to how school will proceed. It is not a case where the Ministry of Education will just say no school or there is school. We have to base our decisions on science each and every time and ensure that the relevant parties have been notified and that there has been discussion, and then we'll make the announcement to the public.
Ahead of plans to transform Grantley Adams International Airport, changes are already taking place at the facility. Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Ryan Strawn, says money-making opportunities are in store for Barbadians. CBC's Sharika Griffith has more in this report.
Government is planning to expand the range of services it currently offers in the civil aviation space.
Expanding the range of services from aircraft maintenance and a whole range of other activities that you can see the airport expanding over the next few years in order to, as I said, complement the suite of services here that you offer. And therefore, not just pilots, but the range of professionals within the civil aviation space is where we intend to open up a specific element of the economy that allows us then to service a regional civil aviation framework that allows us then to be more competitive and to offer greater services to the regional public.
Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, Ryan Strawn, was speaking during the dedication ceremony for the newest building at the airport, the Private Aircraft Services Jet Center. He's commended the move, which he expects will not only create jobs, but investment opportunities for Barbadians. Chief Executive Officer Joseph Kelman explains the business offers a premier concierge service to pilots, passengers and private aircraft entering and exiting the airport.
We have a brand new concierge service that meets you at the bottom of the flight of the aircraft and bring you here. And you are processed here through customs and immigration. And as you said, The process can take about 20 minutes.
In addition to its security scanner and immigration checkpoint, customers also have access to 2 electric vehicles, one of which is wheelchair accessible. The building is also outfitted with an elevator to accommodate people who are physically challenged.
A solar system that is designed to help reduce the carbon footprint and by extension help reduce the country's dependence on fossil fuel. 2 lounges providing easy passage for passengers entering and leaving the island. A lovely crew room, the likes of which has not been seen in Barbados.
Private Air Services was incorporated in 1997. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
And that's our news update for now. Our next newscast is Newsday at 12 p.m. on TV8, followed by The World at 1 via our radio network of stations, 100.7 FM, 98.1 The One, and 94.7 FM. Morning Barbados continues after this.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Precisely 14 minutes after 7 o'clock. Good to have you in company on this marvelous Monday. Not the showers that we grew accustomed to late last week and through the middle of the week into late last week. But nonetheless, we're happy to be here. Let's go ahead and welcome Danielle Toppin, who is the Director General of the Barbados Red Cross. And she's joined by Daniel Boyce, who is a professional producer. That's an inside joke. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. So good to have both of you with us. So let me start with you, Madam Director General. Talk to me about the collaboration with Daniel Boyce and the Women and Development Unit at UE to get us to this place where we are here talking about this partnership.
Okay. I have an interesting, I guess, exposure to the film. I was one of the actors in the film. But coming out of it, seeing the process, learning from Daniel about what inspired the film, seeing the reaction to the film, we also realize it's a very good teaching tool. It has a lot of themes about parenting and bullying and mental health and suicide. So we thought it would be an interesting idea to use it as an event where we can generate discussion around those things and solutions. Women and Development Unit, the UE Open Campus, became involved because quite simply they also saw, their director saw the film and loved it. So she wanted to be a part of it. And that's how we all came together.
That truly is exciting. Now, Daniel, you describe yourself as a lifelong producer.
Yeah.
But you've now made this film, 26th the film, and gained the attention of all of these agencies. Talk to me about the process of making this film.
The process was, it came about because I felt like we needed a piece that spoke to parents and the youth at the same time, because I felt like we was having an issue with gun violence specifically, and I felt like we never really, or we hardly looked at what we could do in the home in the beginning to, you know, spark a change amongst children. So I thought, you know what, I cannot just be one of those persons that, you know, sit by and say, you know, you should do better or whatever. I need to do something with my talents to assist, and I make films. So I wrote the piece. You know, Danielle and a bunch of the other cast came together. We made it in, like, to be honest, from writing to finishing filming, it was like, what, 6 weeks? 5-6 weeks. We knocked it out, got it edited, submitted it to film festivals, and it's doing pretty well. You know, so it was a pretty easy process because of the talent that we have here in Barbados and the assistance from everyone on board.
I know that you're also pairing the projects along with one of your flagship initiatives at the Barbados Red Cross. Tell me more.
The Meals on Wheels program. We wanted to offer the film free of cost because we really want everyone to be able to attend. But we also wanted to welcome the public and people attending to make a donation of any kind, because the Meals on Wheels program, as you said, it's the program people are most familiar with. It's the one where we take daily meals to generally mostly elderly people, shut-ins, people who are not able to leave home. And it's a very costly program to run. So we're using this as an opportunity, yes, to be involved in a project that we're really passionate about, but also to welcome the public to support a program that really helps so many Barbadians and has been running for over 20 years.
Well, it truly is an unconventional pairing, but I'm happy to see that you're using the arts to be able to be that vehicle to bring more people on board, for people to be able to see what young producers are doing and to be able to support the Red Cross at the very same time. So Daniel, you said it took about 6 weeks from conception and writing to filming and editing. In this line of work has definitely a short time frame. So you said that you'd sent it out to a number of film festivals and so on. So how is the production doing?
It's doing really well. I mean, as you can see, we've got fantastic partnerships on board, but internationally it's doing well as well. We're launching a campaign throughout the US with it in September and October. So it should be showing in places like Singapore, throughout the US. It should be showing in Europe as well. So it's, to be honest, it's doing really, really, really well.
What's in the name, 26th the film?
Well, if I told you, I'd be ruining the ending of the film. But it's directly linked to, if you watch the piece, you'll understand it. I cannot tell you without ruining it.
All right, so it's a secret.
Yes, so come out on Friday.
I understand that, but I have to try for my viewers. I mean, I have to ask the questions they might be thinking. So let's remind everybody how they can become a part of the Meals on Wheels program, see the film as well, and make a contribution at the same time.
Okay, so if you come to the film, so I'll treat that in 3 parts. You can become a part if you are interested in being on the program. You can apply through the Barbados Red Cross. If you want to contribute to the program, you can also contact Barbados Red Cross. You can make online transfers. And then for people coming on the night, we're not asking you to get in, but we will have boxes there and the option for people to make donations while they're there.
Okay, where are we coming?
We're coming to the Cynthia Wilson Lecture Theatre. This is at UE at 7 o'clock. And then we're also going to have a discussion, which is one of the interesting parts, because like we said, we see the film as a teaching tool. So we've invited a lot of different people who really are involved in the field as well, so we can really get a discussion going, because I think one of the things we noticed is so many of the themes in the film, all of us could connect with. The difficult ones, the painful ones, it rang home for most of us who were involved in it, which is why I think it became a passion project also for those of us who were involved in Daniel's
Talk to me about your role in the project. I understand that you were wearing your acting hat.
Yes, I was the mother, or yeah, I was one of the mothers. There are two mothers featured, but I was the one of the lead character. I was his mother. And I think we had a lot of issues also. It shows some of the challenges with women parenting teenage boys, some of probably what are their own challenges that they're going through, and how they transfer that onto their own children, whether intentionally or not. So it was a hard role to play, very emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
But it was, I'm very proud to have been a part of it.
All right, so you have all the information you need to come out and be a part of it. This, again, June 30th is when you can come out and be a part of 26th, the film. The producer will not tell us what the name is about. That's okay. We'll find out. Danielle Toppin, Director General of the Barbados Red Cross, and Daniel Boyce, producer of 26th, the film. They're pairing up for this production, the screening really. So inviting you to come out and kind of kill two birds with one stone, as we would say in Bridge and Parlance. You know, find out about what's happening, support the film. Oh wait, more than two, and support the Red Cross too. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot
Thanks for having us.
Of course. We will be right back. It's 22 minutes after 7 o'clock. Stay with us.
You, get inside the house. I said to get inside. Get inside the house.
Hey man, what's up? You don't listen?
You are Miss Harris from up your gap. My gap? No. I am so disappointed. I am tired of being embarrassed by you.
Yo, what do you for me, man? Yo, bro, what? I'm done.
Me done. Is he done doing what? Come and carry you home and then you get yourself cleaned up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, it's 7:25. Time is quickly going by, and I know you were happy for the little rain that came last week. You know, we're a little wary of the tropical systems, but at least, I don't know if you recognized, but moving around the country yesterday, I saw a little bit of green peeking out over the last few weeks. You know, things have been looking more on the browner and yellowy side because we've not been getting that much rain. So we're grateful for that. We're also grateful for our wonderful fisher folk who are always taking care of us and going out on the high seas to make sure that we can partake of what's available out there. And today they're here with us. We're talking about Fisherman's Day. June 29th is coming up. And joining us, we have Melissa Tate, who is Vice President of the Bridgetown Fisherfolk Association and President of Fish and More Fish, and Delbert Augustine Ford, PRO of the Bridgetown Fisherfolk Association. And he is also
Manager of Just Fish.
Manager of Just Fish. Good morning and welcome.
Morning. Good morning.
All right, I'm going to start with you, Melissa. Tell me a little bit more about this international observance that's really meant to salute our fisher folk and people working in the industry.
The observance of International Fishermen's Day is something that has been celebrated from time immemorial. Is observed on a global scale because we know that fisheries and fishing is an old tradition that goes way back beyond how we could really gauge. And it is an acknowledgement of the collaboration of many persons within the fishery sector that come together to provide wholesome food for each and every one across various countries across the globe. So we as fisherfolk, we acknowledge Fisherman's Day, and in gratitude we have stuck to the theme for this year's festival to be feeding the nation one fish at a time, because we acknowledge our role as being a part and parcel of the bread basket and providing for our communities. It has also been identified by the FAO and the UNDP as the gateway to poverty alleviation for those in marginalized communities, and for those within those areas they also recognize the importance of gender and the role that it plays within fisheries and how it provides for both men and women and allows them to secure and take care of their families. So the fishing industry is not just eating fish and having fun, but it's also recognizing the importance it plays in livelihoods and how it provides food security across the globe.
Excellent. Now, Delbert, I know that you guys have a week of activities that will be coming up. Talk to us more about that.
We have activity started yesterday actually with a church service at James Street, and then we follow right into Payne's Pile Bay Fish Market, having their activities from yesterday. And we got oysters, we got spike stone, we got the shadow draft, which were also known as the sandpit. And then we will climax with the main market, which is Bridgetown, on July the 1st, where we would have various things that we'll be doing. We got competitions on there, and we'll be giving back. We give back all year, but on that day we will be giving back. Everybody will come together and give back to the community.
Let's talk about that a little bit more, Melissa. Is being dubbed a fair and festival?
Yes, the reason why we're calling it a fair and festival this year, because traditionally persons would come to Fisherman's Day to have food for free and indulge in some drinks and music. But this year we see it as an importance to sensitize the public about the various persons and individuals that play key roles in the collaborative effort of the functioning of fisheries. So we have in the first half of the day, probably beginning about 9:30 a.m., which will have the educational segment and fair and health fair. In that segment you will have persons from Surmis UE, who we as fisherfolk do training with, persons from the UNDP FAO that will have displays of projects that we did with those organizations, persons from the Nursing Association, we are thankful, that will be coming through to do health checks for the general public and fisherfolk on that day. And then we will have a photo op section that will basically display all the careers that are found within fisheries and explain how those careers allow us to branch out into other industries, because we all recognize that fisheries is a part of the blue economy. So that will be in the first half of the day from morning to around 2 p.m. But simultaneously we also have other activities going on. So we would have also something called a boat tour. Now the reason for the boat tour is to sensitize the public about the journey of fisherfolk or fishermen before they leave shore, and then they returns to shore. So fishermen will be there on the boat for persons to come and look in the ice hole and see how they ice the fish, where they sleep in the bunkers, and to explain the whole process of fishing, which is how much it costs to go to sea, how much it costs for ice, how much it costs for diesel, and what's not. The reason for sensitizing the public is to allow them to gain a better relationship with fisher folk and to have a more understanding of their journey. We will have line dancing, we have karaoke. Journey around 2 p.m. we will have the remembrance hour, amalgamation with the award ceremony, and the remembrance hour is to observe persons who've passed away within the fisher folk community, and also fishermen who were lost at sea and were not recovered. So afterwards, we will have our after party from 7 to 11 p.m. in the evening. So for me, this year, we are trying to elevate it to a different level, because as a globally recognized day, it should be at the national level. And we are trying as fisher folk to engage the public on all levels this time. So that's why we called it a fair and festival.
I'm really happy to see that you're engaging with us in that manner, so people truly see what it takes, what you have to put in to be able to deliver what you do. We hear a lot of discussion about the price of fish, and people say, well, it's out there in the open sea for everybody to get, and this and that and the other. So it's very important for you to be able to share what you have to be able to put in by way of your input through money and willpower and effort and energy, and everything else that goes with that to be able to deliver this fish or whatever we are getting from the sea to the public for them. All right, I want to hear now from you, Delbert, about your personal journey as somebody who is involved in the industry, because I think that too, the sharing of stories is equally as important for us to understand where you're coming from and who you are generally.
Yes, but a couple of years ago, I got a call to come and do driving for a gentleman that was working, he still works in the fishing industry. And I did that. I wanted to do more. So I learned how to catfish and do all them things. And then I decided, I wanted to start my own business as well. And that's where I then start Just Fish, which I'm the owner and the manager of. And from there I climb, and I basically supply most of the hotels and restaurants and villas and local houses in Barbados. And then we decided we want to do more. So we got on board with fisheries itself, and we launched the boat building program, because we're trying to get the younger generation more involved, because the elders are going out to it. And we're doing different programs in terms of bringing all of those youngsters into this business. So that's basically what it is. And we got a lot more planned. We're just focusing right now on the Fisherman's Week of activities, but we got a lot more planned. And as we did the People's Business, and we point out what our plans is for the future in terms of bringing a lot of more people, younger people on board as well. So yeah, that's basically where we're going.
All right.
We end up getting a lot of sponsors on board. We have characters, we have banks on board. We got so much Biden stores, everybody on board right now. So we're looking to do some more work with them in the coming future in terms of pushing the fishing industry further, making people more aware of what goes on out there.
All right, Melissa, what about you?
Well, I am the manager and owner of Fish and More Fish. My journey in fisheries started when I was young, 11 years old. My mom went into fisheries, and I worked alongside her throughout the entire time on vacation. And the money that came from her productivity provided for my college education. And then I worked during that time with her as well. And then that propelled me then to go to university. So the money from fisheries also provided for my university education, and I graduated with my bachelor's there in philosophy and political science. I applied during the time to many places who saw that my degree was too broad at the time, because I had graduated during the time of the economic depression. And I decided that since fisheries had provided my education, then I go into fisheries and start my own business. I worked with my mom up to 2018, and then I moved into the Paynes Bay facility and established my business under the name of Fish and More Fish. And if you Google the name of my business, you will see the website pop up with different photos and descriptions of fish and activities within the fishing industry. And I could say that working with fish and working with fisherfolk and working within the industry has exposed me to a lot. And it has allowed me to grow as an individual, because some people say if you can handle being in the market, you can handle being anywhere. And persons will be like, why is that you still there? I was like, even if I had to graduate to other things, that fish was something that will still remain in my life, because it is an energy that is within that industry, and is an energy you don't find nowhere else. The actual rush to provide, the understanding of the responsibility that comes with your role of feeding persons and providing quality food for them is a great understanding and feeling. So for my celebrations in Paynes Bay, which will come on the 29th of June, I will have an educational segment in the morning entitled Bridging the Gap, and there will entertain students from various schools, explaining to them what the blue economy is, what it means, and the potential it has for them as young people who are, as Justin said, we are trying to file into the industry, because we recognize that we're an aging industry, and the only way that we could carry on our traditions is to engage young people. So during that educational segment, which is entitled Bridging the Gap, we'll be discussing the professions within the fishing industry, the significance of the blue economy, and how those professions allow you to transition from fisheries into the tourism industry and all other industries that are a part of the blue economy.
I want to thank you so much, Melissa Tate, Vice President, and Delbert Augustine Ford, who is PRO of the Bridgetown Fisherfolk Association. Thank you for coming in and sharing, nice. And I'm wishing you all the best on that amazing observance that's coming up on the 29th of June. We most certainly will remind everybody about it and about what you will be doing under the theme Feeding the Nation on July one fish at a time on July 1st.
Yes. In Bridgetown.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so make sure you come on out and be a part of that. Love that they're also involving the young people so they get an idea of what some of the career choices could be in the industry. It's time for another break, but stay with us. More's to come here on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We don't hear about our national heroes enough, but it's wonderful to know that the Methodist Church moved to put on a memorial lecture. So we're going to be speaking with Faye Marie Brown, who is a member of the organizing committee of Heritage Month 2023, and Reverend Adrian Oldall, Superintendent Minister of Bethel Circuit. Welcome. Good morning. Good to have you with us.
Good morning. Good morning to you, Keisha. Barbados. Delighted to be here.
Now, Reverend Oldall, tell us all about this free lecture in honor of Sarah Ann Gill that's coming up.
Good. Certainly. Well, the Methodist Church in Barbados, as you know, we are privileged with the only national hero. And for the past 15 years or 14 years or so, we have been having this lecture to commemorate our Methodist heritage as a people. And this year, we are having this lecture on Wednesday evening at 7:15 at the Bethel Methodist Church. And the theme for our lecture would be societal or moral disease, redeeming the concept of Ubuntu and re-engaging the conversation on morality. Now, that seemed like a mouthful, Keisha. So you may be asking, well, what is this theme and why this theme? Now, this word Ubuntu, which perhaps may be new to some of us, is really a word that comes from the African continent culture, and it really means humanity. And as one person has expressed and put it, it says, I am because we are. So when we speak of this theme for this year, we are looking at what makes us human beings, or what makes us as humanity. And one of the things about this concept is that it seeks to help us to recognize that our lives are all intertwined, and that this notion of individualism, which is so much a part of our Western culture, is not something that is in the best interest of our development. So it speaks about what makes us human. It speaks about compassion. It speaks about empathy. And so we have selected this theme because we believe that at this time in our country, this is a relevant theme. And we are very pleased that we have a distinguished lecturer, the Right Reverend Professor Emmanuel Larty from Ghana, who is currently serving as the professor in the Chandler School of Theology in the area of pastoral care and theology. So that in a nutshell, Keisha and Barbados, is what this lecture will be about on Wednesday at the Bethel Methodist Church at 7:15.
Now, Ms. Brown, this is all a part of, a Heritage Week. So let's hear more about the Heritage Week and how this lecture plays into the overall picture that you're trying to paint of the Methodist Church.
Right.
Good morning
So
to you. Thank you, Reverend. Good morning, everyone, and permit me to say an extra special good morning to our Methodist family, and certainly I'm going to beg permission to even hail those in my Ebenezer circuit, and particularly those in the Beulah congregation. And you're right, we are started a week, a Heritage Week, celebration of Methodist heritage. And this week got going really on Saturday when we launched a youth movement, a new initiative called MyJT, Methodist Youth Journeying Together. And when you think about it, this embraces the whole principle or concept of Ubuntu, as just explained by Reverend Odell. We want our young people to come together, to journey together, to understand that together they can achieve so much spiritually, in terms of their education, just in terms of their life in community. So we got started on Saturday with the launch of MyJT, Methodist Youth Journeying Together. Yesterday we held a prayer vigil, a prayer service for our children. And we are very mindful that our children are going through some turbulent times, and that they need all the prayer that we can give them, all the help that we can give them. So we held a prayer vigil. It really was for those who will be taking their 11 plus exam tomorrow, Tuesday, but we also prayed for the general health and well-being of all children of our nation. On Thursday evening, I'm going to come back to Wednesday, but on Thursday, we launched the Methodist Training Institute. And this is something that Reverend Odell is very passionate about. And I'm sure he's going to take the opportunity to share more on that training institute. We're also going to have some read aloud campaigns in 2 of our primary schools. The wife of our Bishop Larty, who's here, is the author of a book entitled Cloth for a King. And she has consented to sharing on her book with 2 of our schools, of our primary schools. And this happens during the week as we progress. And then on Wednesday, as Reverend Odell said, we have our lecture, the annual Sarah Ann Gill Memorial Lecture, which is being held at the Bethel Methodist Church at 7:15. We're asking persons to be seated, and the lecture starts at 7:30 p.m.
Oh, definitely a lot happening. So let's go now back to Reverend Odell to talk about the feature speaker for this particular presentation, because he hails from Ghana. Tell us a little bit more about him and what brings him to Barbados in this capacity, meaning that he will be delivering the Sarah Ann Gill Memorial Lecture.
Good. Thank you. Well, of course, he is a Methodist. And so that is a plus, so that here is someone who is familiar with the heritage of Methodism and who is well qualified. Professor Larty, for example, he served as a senior lecturer in pastoral studies and practical theology in the Department of Theology and in the Chandler School of Theology. Professor Larty as well has served as a chairperson of the British and Irish Association for Practical Theology. He has also served as a treasurer of the International Academy for Practical Theology, and he is also an editor of the Journal of Pastoral Theology. And currently, he is holding the chair for Pastoral Theology and Spiritual Care at the Chandler School of Theology. So you see, Professor Larty is a distinguished scholar, Methodist scholar, and certainly he has a good understanding coming from the Ghana context to be able to share with us this concept, which certainly in Barbados we believe is relevant at this time as we continue to reposition ourselves as a country and to wrestle with the many social issues that confront us as a nation at this time.
Reverend Odell, I want to thank you for coming on. Pardon? Sorry, continue.
So we're happy to have such a distinguished person like Professor Larty coming to share with us, and it's like going back to our roots or our heritage as a people.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us, Reverend Odell, Superintendent Minister Bethel Circuit, and Faye Marie Brown, member of the Organizing Committee for the Heritage Month 2023. I wish you the very best. And remember, the lecture is coming up on Wednesday, the 28th, 7 o'clock in the evening. You need to be seated. The lecture starts promptly at 7:15 and it's absolutely free. So once again, thank you so much. Best wishes on your week of activities. And you most certainly have to update us on how everything goes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us as well.
The time is swiftly moving on. We are coming back to wrap Morning Barbados shortly, so stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, and most certainly I'm blessed today. I have two beautiful ladies who've now joined me on set to tell us all about the Mothers Union movement. And many of us, as I mentioned earlier, would know about the Mothers Union. As my mother would put it, ladies come out in their lily white on Sundays to represent. And you know it's a competition. I know they might not admit that, but everybody wants to have that very beautiful white dress. Welcome Joyce Seeley, who is the Barbados Mothers Union President.
Thank you.
Great to have you with us, Madam President.
Thank you very much.
And she's brought along Sharon Harper, who is the worldwide president of the Mothers Union. Good morning, Madam President.
Good morning to you too.
All right, so no white today, but looking
today.
Resplendent in your colors as well.
Colours.
Wonderful to have you with us again.
Or new colors.
So we are talking about the 110th anniversary of the movement, and because you are at home, you have home turf advantage. So you get to start, Ms. Seeley. Tell us about the celebrations that are coming up in honor of the 110th anniversary of the Mothers Union.
Well, on the 24th, that was Saturday, we had our first activity, which was the prayer breakfast at the Barbados Yacht Club. And our worldwide president, we were glad to have her there. She brought a fantastic thing to the whole activity by having her first feature address with us since becoming worldwide president. And she really gave us some tips on the way for moving forward, particularly because of what we've had that impacted us, the COVID-19, and has impacted the members, the whole community, and the island, and our activities in particular. So we only planned 3 or 4 activities. We were at the cathedral yesterday evening for our service at 4 o'clock, and our bishop, he brought the message. And then today, well, we're with you, and we're going with our sweet president, or madam. She is having us at 11 o'clock, and our exhibition at All Souls. It's not too late to come and see the work of the Barbados Mothers Union at 11 o'clock.
All right, so there will be many presidents gathered, lady presidents gathered at that time. Now, internationally, Mothers Union exists in 83 countries and has 4 million members. I did not know that. You know, initially I thought it was a local thing, but it's wonderful to see that it truly is a worldwide thing. Tell me about your presidency.
My presidency began in 2019 when I was elected by all the presidents around the world in 84 countries, and began in 2019 under a new constitution, the first president as well from outside the British Isles in 147 years. So that was quite an achievement for Mothers Union. And since then, I have been involved in traveling and inspiring and encouraging and motivating our members to reach out and be concerned with all that helps stable family life, providing a network of support for families, especially in a changing world, one that's challenging, a conflicted world with all that's happening around us now. We have all the wars, conflict in Sudan, and our members are on the ground there providing the necessary support.
I also wasn't aware of how much work you do in the communities and so on. So talk to me about what the Barbados chapter does with the Mothers Union.
Okay, we do, particularly the branches. We have 30 branches. So what they do, we do the hampers, and so weekly and monthly we have homework program. And a lot of this work is done on the ground by the branch members, and reading programs. Then we had a breakfast program, which 100 children, we met at the St. Mary's home. So we had to discontinue that because of resources, and the building was not going too well. And then we have the parenting program, of which we've trying to resuscitate that. We just had 3 trainers that came back from Trinidad, Reverend Gillian Crawford, Michelle Walcott, and myself. So we're trying now to get that program. First thing we're going to do is to have some facilitators. We're going to train them, and we don't want it just in 1, 2 locations. We want to go all over the 4 deaneries: Christchurch, St. John, St. Peter, and the St. Michael's Deanery. So those things we want to have on board. We just had a sponsored walk in February to raise funds for that. And our Bishop Maxwell, he took part in the walk. He is so concerned about what is happening and so into what we are doing, and so glad to assist us that he did the walk himself. It was an 8K walk. And also an 81-year-old lady, she did the walk. And this walk was for love of the children. Whatever we are doing is about families, the whole Mothers Union. And one of our objects speak to family life, to help those families whose lives have met with adversity. So we have to see whatever adverse conditions exist, and we have to work with it. Just in December, we had a seminar on which we were looking at safeguarding is everyone's business. So all the organizations, we try to get them on board. We're doing it again this year so that we can expose members to the organizations that can assist us. And one of the things that we're really concerned about is the abuse. Abuse of women, abuse of children, whatever type of abuse there is that existing out there, we want to have that.
I'm really happy to see the Mothers Union stepping out in this way. Women are truly the backbone of our society. We still are a matriarchal society. Yes. And by name and by nature, it's good to see that you truly are working to cradle the community. You said the backbone really is the family. Yeah. So, Madam President, visiting President, I certainly hope that you're going to find some time to be able to get a little relaxing in. I'm sure the Barbados chapter will make sure that they work you to the bone, though.
And they are, and I'm loving it. Just being with the members is really, really inspiring. And to hear the stories, and I can take those stories and share them in other dioceses when I visit.
All right, well, we definitely have to talk some more about the work of the Barbados Mothers Union.
I really appreciate that.
You know, please do reach out to us and share more. And I'm so surprised that I myself did not know as much as I should about the Mothers Union and all the work you do. I know, like I said, you know, you're always dressed to the nines and out in your white and representing at church, and some days you have your observances and things like that, but it's great to see that you are encouraging mothers to give back to the community. So thank you so much, Joyce Seeley, who is the Barbados Mothers Union President here in Barbados, and Sharon Harper, who is the Worldwide President, and first time for this region, this hemisphere, yes? To be elected in this role. So again, you can check them out worldwide at mothersunion.org, and they're celebrating their 110th anniversary. That is nothing to sneeze at. So congratulations once again. All right, coming up tomorrow on, thank you so much. Coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados, conversations on CARICOM with Ambassador Comishong. We're going to tell you about the Barbados Trust Fund Limited, as well as we have a new book. It's called Maya's Redemption that we will be sharing with you. And we're talking pediatric care with Dr. Gillian Birchwood. Plus, we are going to bring some of the crop over action your way as well. That's all tomorrow on Morning Barbados. So as you go about your day today, remember to wear your smiles, find out a little bit more about the Mothers Union, and come on back to us tomorrow. On behalf of the entire crew, have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you.